Well, here I am driving again. Got about a 3-hour drive back to Perth. Actually, no, I had a 3-hour drive back to Perth when I started. It's probably only about 2 hours now. But I thought I'd just do another quick video. While I was out and about, I did record some more shadow stuff. I don't know whether I'll include it in this video or whether I'll save it up for the next ridiculous Apollo defectives thing that I do. Obviously the Apollo defectives are ridiculous, not me, but I'm going to point that out quickly. I was looking at Ben's latest video. He's right, I do watch a lot of his stuff. He watches a lot of mine as well. I watch it for amusement though, that's the thing. He seems to watch mine because he's inspired to make videos trying to debunk me, and never succeeded yet. Comes up with these ridiculous arguments, but and there was no shortage of those in his latest video. I noticed that sort of close to the beginning he's reinforcing his support for the pentarch nonsense. Again, clearly demonstrating he's no researcher. Obviously seen the points I put in my last video about lies being told, and how precisely Kaz had described the military parachute flares, triangular with a curve at the bottom. I've done a video about that myself. That's obviously what she saw. Now, I was surprised to hear him say that Richard Dolan and someone else had said that they think disclosure is going to be rolled back. Well, it will be, because there's really nothing to disclose. So nothing is going to be disclosed. But I must admit, I'm surprised to hear Ben say that Dolan has said that, because I've pretty much given up watching Dolan's channel because it's a lot of rubbish, and he blocked me on there. I made a couple of comments and he blocked me, so I tend not to watch channels that I can't comment on. But I mean, Dolan in the past has pushed the fake alien baby, whatever it was. This is a dead alien, and it was a mummified or an old dead human child or something. Or was it a mummy of a child, something like that? And he sort of knowingly peddles all this fictitious rubbish as truth, just like Ben does. But something Ben said made me laugh. He said that oh yeah, after the fake alien invasion we'd all come together under one world government. I mean, can you really imagine that? For a start, no one could pull off a fake alien invasion, as I've said before. Where are these squadrons of flying saucers coming from? If they're hidden in a big underground establishment in the UK, what would happen when they start attacking Beijing or Moscow? What do you think would happen? They're going to get shot down pretty quick, aren't they? And the crews are going to be quickly shown to be human. Or any of the big cities. Can you imagine? Any of these flying saucers, or is it a multinational flying saucer task force? Possibly. Is that what he's got in mind? Just going past this guy. I think what I can. Maybe that's what he really believes. That China has got squadrons of flying saucers, and Russia's got squadrons of flying saucers. And they're just waiting like coiled springs for the word, and then they're going to they're all going to attack their own countries with their flying saucers and scare the population into believing it's a fake, it's a real alien invasion. I mean, where does this nonsense come from? And as far as getting everyone together under one world government, I mean, really? I mean, look at what happened with the Second World War. You had the global scourge of the Nazis sweeping through Europe and North Africa. And everybody came together to defeat the Nazis, didn't they? And what happened as soon as the Second World War finished? everyone went back to running their own country, didn't they? Well, except the Germans. But, you know, no one was interested in forming a world government, were they? And if anyone had tried it, well, that's what Hitler was trying to do, wasn't it? If anyone had tried it, everyone would have been, there'd be resistance movements all over the place fighting it. It's just nonsense. I mean, you've got this rubbish going on in Trafalgar Square in the UK with David Icke. And I thought, I did watch that. I said, oh, ladies and gentlemen, David Icke. Everyone was cheering. And I said, come on, look at that. He's soaking up the adulation. He wouldn't get that sort of adulation if he was a goalkeeper or a sports reporter, that's for sure. And he starts talking, and he finds a trigger word to get the crowd going. Freedom. We want our freedom. And they're going, freedom! Freedom! And I thought, what these Muppets need to do is to sort of take a step back and no, actually I won't recommend what Les Grossman recommended, although they probably should, and just take a long hard look at themselves, because they're standing there going, give us our freedom, give us our freedom, and of course they have the freedom to stand there and shout, give us our freedom. Britain's being Nazified. Oh, I didn't see anybody being. I didn't see. I didn't see any squads of armed soldiers rounding people up, putting them against a wall, and shooting them or escorting them to a gas chamber. Didn't see any of that. All I saw was a bunch of Muppets shouting and hollering about not having any freedom in Trafalgar Square and having the freedom to do that. I mean, David Icke really would have been rejected for membership for the Imbecile Club because he wouldn't have been able to pass the entrance exam, would he? Really? I'll tell you what I'd do. I think if I was the British government, what I would do is I would get one of my sneaky covert outfits to go and hire some COVID sufferers, you know, a dozen COVID sufferers, and I'd get them to go along to that rally, and I would get them, as many of them as possible, to shake David Icke by the hand and pat him on the back, say, you're doing a wonderful job, David. I think what needs to happen is one or two of these high-profile idiots need to come down with COVID. So if anyone out there's got a secret black ops organisation that can arrange something like that, maybe you should get on with it and save everybody a lot of strife. The other thing too is, of course, that they never put their money where their mouth is, do they? I mean, I think someone should say to David Icke and that other bloody God, that guy that looks a bit like a scarecrow. What's his name? Piers something? Piers, the brother of the ex-prime minister or the ex-opposition leader. Something, I can't remember his name now, but always looks like he takes a great deal of care in his appearance and his presentation. You know the guy. He tells us we're heading for an ice age. That lunatic. And that fella too, and he's saying it's all rubbish, it's all fake, there's no such thing as COVID. Get him and David Icke and get them to go around the COVID wards in the hospital like Boris Johnson did, with no mask, no gloves, no PPE whatsoever, and just shake all the COVID patients by the hand, wish them all the best, and get their faces as close as possible to them, whisper in their ears good luck and all that sort of stuff. That's what they should do. Let's see if they'd be up for that. Let's see if anybody challenges them to do that. And I can pretty much guarantee what the outcome will be. They'll make every excuse under the sun, and they won't do it because they know it's real. Because they're peddling all this bloody nonsense for, you know, I don't know what agenda they've got to get on YouTube. Maybe I know Alex Jones was. I saw a documentary about conspiracy people the other day, and Alex Jones. I might actually make a video about that. Alex Jones was on there and his wife was on there, and she was saying, yeah, he jumped on any bandwagon just to get clicks, because clicks equal money. He just wanted more and more and more. It was greed and greed and greed. And he was saying Sandy Hook was all fake, and none of the kids were killed and all this sort of stuff. And one of the kids' fathers actually sued Alex Jones, and Alex Jones is on camera and he's going, yeah, well, I don't know, I had a psychotic episode, I didn't know what I was saying. And I think he should be bailed up and challenged about every ridiculous bloody conspiracy theory he's spruiked just to make money, like 9/11. Does he spruik the moon landings as well? Absolutely absolutely bloody ridiculous. And it's all about money, getting your face on the television, getting your face on YouTube. Nothing whatsoever to do with the truth. And was there another point? Oh yeah, I was going to make a point about the I did laugh, it's changing the subject completely, but I did laugh when Ben started talking about the scientists. The scientists have said they may have possibly found alien life on Venus. And Ben is saying, oh yeah, well, you know, they could be living in balloons in the atmosphere. I mean, they could use an umbrella to keep the sulfuric acid rain off. Could you imagine? Could you imagine it raining sulfuric acid and you trying to keep it off you with an umbrella? Especially if it's a bit windy, you know, it's all going to blow under the umbrella and you're going to get dissolved, aren't you? And he said, well, yeah, you can walk around on these these balloons, wearing air tanks, you know, like the divers wear. But you know, of course, you're on Venus, so where exactly are you going to go to get them refilled? You know, because it's all CO2. And it's all carbon dioxide, and you're going to have to live in a balloon, you know, so far up in the atmosphere that the pressure is not crushing, and the temperature is about 35 degrees centigrade. I suppose, you know, if you could make your plant out of something that was lighter than air, you could extract the O2 from the carbon dioxide. But I don't know how you go about supporting that sort of infrastructure with balloons. What could it be? I wonder. Well, it could be that there are something like jellyfish that we get on Earth, because you get extremophiles on Earth, you know, that can live in highly acidic environments and high temperatures and all this sort of stuff. So it's probably not beyond the realms of possibility that there could be some critters living in the Venusian atmosphere, and it could be that it's so hot below that they just spend their lives like gliders. You know, they're just floating around on thermals, just with thermal energy rising off the planet. Keeps them aloft. I don't know what they'd feed on. That's the only thing. Where would they get their nutrients from? Because the scientists have found this phosgene gas, I think it is, in the atmosphere. As they can, as far as they know, it can only be produced by biological processes. So it might be something like that. There might be these sort of jellyfish-type critters flying or floating around in the atmosphere. Maybe even huge things floating around, depending on how strong the thermal updrafts are, that are capable of getting oxygen if they need it out of the carbon dioxide. Is it carbon dioxide or is it nitrogen on Venus? I think it's carbon dioxide, isn't it? Because it's got something like 400 degrees centigrade surface temperature. I think that's down to sort of global warming on an incredible scale. But yeah, I did get a laugh out of that. But I do think there is something to this panspermia thing, though, where biological material is scattered throughout the galaxy, and any planets that are suitable hosts, whatever comes off in the comets, this biological material thrives. And obviously, on planets where that are not suitable for them, that they just don't. I think that's pretty reasonable theory, Because when you think about it, Earth doesn't just have us, does it? It has all these trees and bushes and ants and microbes and centipedes and goodness knows how many millions or billions of different types of life that it suggests that I think it suggests anyway that the same sort of thing would be going on any planet with suitable conditions. This stuff just rains down on it and just takes off. Grass grows, trees grow, and living organisms form. Most things have eyes, don't they? So ants have eyes, even, don't they? So little tiny spiders have 8 eyes. All these really diverse life forms with different amounts of legs and all this sort of stuff, but they can still eke out a living out of the planet. The spider spins a web, catches a fly, and eats it. So I think there's far too much going on this planet, life-wise, for there to be no life out there. And it would be pretty hard to imagine that every living thing on this planet came from a couple of cells rubbing together. I find that hard to believe. So I think it's quite likely that the panspermia theory is correct. And if that's the case, of course, if you get planets with oxygen and seawater and all that sort of stuff in the Goldilocks zone, you're going to get the same thing happening, trees and plants growing and all this sort of stuff. And you would probably get evolving intelligent life as well. That still doesn't mean they can get here. Now, we're out in the boondocks as far as the galaxy goes. We're right out on the edge of a spiral arm. So, unless they're very, very close to us, it would be very difficult for them to get to us. But in towards the centre of the galaxy, the stars are far more bunched up. And you might find that stars are, light days or light weeks apart. It's not light years. And you might be able to get, intelligent species that are capable of travelling between those sort of distances. But to get to us, we could be 400 light years away, 300 light years away. It's an awful long way, isn't it? So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting question. But I don't think supporting science fiction stories just because people so desperately want it to be true is the way to go. Linda Moulton Howe is the same. Kerry Cassidy is the same. Richard Dolan, Greer. They all spruik these bloody science fiction stories, which isn't helping. It really isn't helping the real research into the subject. People are looking at it and they can say, well, it's obviously not ET related. But the UFO people will look at exactly the same thing and say, oh, that's obviously ET. There's evidence for you. And of course, it isn't. Alright, well, I don't think there was anything else. Was there? Oh yeah, there was one other thing. I looked at Miles Johnson's channel the other day. That's another one that's good for a laugh. And the Kingdom of Manna is going to be taking on China. Yes. I think within 4 days they were going to neutralise all China's weaponry. And I think that was probably 4 or 5 days ago, so we should be seeing on the news about all these Chinese military aircraft falling out of the sky and the Chinese Navy coming to a halt around their newly developed islands in the South China Sea. The Kingdom of Manna. Do a little bit of research into that. It's quite amusing. Quite amusing. Of course, it isn't real. And somewhere along the line, they want your money. Believe that. It's as hard as it may be for you to believe. That's what the bottom line is. They want your money. Just like Bob Geldof. I want your effing money. Actually, it sounded a little bit like Miles Johnston there, didn't I? Anyway, well, I don't know if this is going to be full of critters. I've got to wait 5 kilometres to get past it. But however bad your day is going to be, it's not going to be as bad as the critters on this truck. That's for sure. They'll be going down the. This time tomorrow, this lot are going to be in polystyrene trays covered in transparent cellophane in the supermarket. Oh, actually, I can duck around this guy here. There we go. Yeah, cattle. Well, I'm sure they'll be delicious. Better get used to the idea of being on a barbecue, ladies, or being stuck between a couple of sesame seed buns. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else. There was the Kingdom of Banner. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I don't know how the cold steam turbine's going. Another bloody load of rubbish that's spruiked on that channel, generating power just from the thin air. Yeah. Invite me over to appraise it and give me a demonstration. I'll write up a proper technical report about it. Oh dear. All right. Well, I think that's enough from me. So probably still got how far I've got to go. 106 kilometres to go before I do a right turn, and then another 60 kilometres back into the city of Perth. I'm at the Great Northern Highway at the moment. I've just been out to near a place called Dongara. If you're remotely interested, you can sort of look that up. Just put it into Google Earth, you can see where Dongara is. And on my way back, I just stopped off at a place called Badgingarra. They had a very, very nice homemade steak kidney pie. Very nice. And washed it down with one of those double espresso flavoured milks. So all I've got to do for the rest of the day is drive back to Perth, drop this car off, pick my car up and drive home. You'll probably see there's a couple of free energy windmills over there. Free energy windmills. Oh, actually, that reminds me, yeah. Ben was talking about the free energy thing again. Of course, no such thing as free energy. These things here give you free energy from the wind. Solar panels give you free energy. How? See, he won't talk to me about it. I can't ask him. How does he envision free energy being rolled out? Does he expect a sort of a small box to be in every house producing this free energy, and it's sort of wired into all the house wiring? Or power stations that now run on coal and all this sort of stuff, they're going to be producing free energy. They're going to be taking energy from the 0 point and still distributing it down all the wires. Is that what he imagines? It's hard to imagine what he imagines, really. And because even if that was the case, and there was such a thing, the guy with the trailer is limited to 100 kilometres an hour. It's 110 speed limit here, so we'll get past him before we get to the end of the overtaking area. Because if you've got a power station that's getting free energy from the 0 point and distributing it just like the power stations do now, you're still going to have to pay for it, because you're still going to have to pay for all the crews that are going to maintain all the distribution infrastructure, all the cables, all the pylons, power poles. And if, just supposing Tesla came out with a free energy device, right? Free energy box, it wouldn't be free, would it? You'd probably have to pay 10,000 quid for it, and then you'd have to get a maintenance contract for it, so that if it went wrong, because it's going to have to be wired up to your house as well, isn't it? If it went wrong, someone's going to have to come and repair it. Yeah, it's just ludicrous nonsense. And that's even if there was such a thing as free energy, which, of course, there isn't. These windmills, I don't know if you saw the windmills, solar power is the closest thing we're ever going to get to free energy. It's ludicrous science fiction nonsense. All right. Well, I think that'll do. If I think of anything else, I've still got a fair way to go. Then I might make another video. If not, well, I'll probably catch you again. As always, if you've struggled through this video all the way to this point, many thanks for watching, and not me. That's a steak kidney pie. Maybe I'll catch you again.